Good comedies are hard for me to find nowadays. It really feels like it's a dying genre. Comedy is subjective, so when somebody does recommend a comedy to you, it's really tied to the type of comedy that they like and what they find to be funny. Back in 2010, I heard about this show created by the Pineapple Express Thug Life guy.
Thug Life.
Eastbound and Down, where McBride plays Kenny Powers, a bodacious MLB pitcher who assholed himself out of the league.
I'm sick and tired of carrying all the weight. The coaches and owners not giving me the shit I need to win. Atlanta, you're f***ing out.
Who's now forced to move back into his hometown with his brother to get a job as a phys ed teacher, as he slowly tries to regain his MLB glory in a comeback. I was immediately hooked on this show.
Okay, I like it. All right.
Just how insane the Kenny Powers character is what really made me binge the whole show back then. Not to mention all of the very fun cameos.
I can feel it down in my plums. You're getting a nice bluish hue.
But if you had to choose between titties or ass, which one?
Yeah, I see now what you're saying. It's a hard choice.
10 years later, I heard of another McBride show called The Righteous Gemstones. And just by hearing it, I immediately remember how much fun I had with Eastbound and Down. So I decided to give the show a try, and boy was I not disappointed. This show multiplies the Kenny Powers character by 3. But in case you don't know, The Righteous Gemstone is about this crazy, flashy televangelist family led by Eli Gemstone and his comically immature kids, Jesse, Judy, and Kelvin. The show is created by McBride, so it does carry that riffing improv most of his projects have that really leads to his unique style of ridiculousness. It's kind of a cop-out and very easy just to say. McBride plays the same guy in different environments. You know, he's playing baseball, or he's in a school, or at a church. While that's really just a blanketed view of things, I do feel like he is playing different degrees of McBride in all of his projects. Danny McBride is very much like cilantro. Like, if you like him, you will enjoy his stuff, and for the rest of him, he kind of tastes like soap. Now, I'm not the most religious person, but I do like how this show is not particularly making fun of the church or religion. Yeah, it does take shots of the people who do take advantage of church and religion for self-gain.
We have a pretty nice house.
What? This whole thing?
You fly on private jets.
So the jets belong to the church, not us. But I see you. The devil just jumped right in me there for a second, didn't he?
But more than anything, he's really using that as a base to create and revolve all these characters around. Most of the characters in the show are righteous themselves, not just the gemstones. And the conflicts that revolve around the show are really about how they are and the luxurious lives they live. The church and religion is used more as a setting to put them in wild situations and how all these characters will deal with said situations. There's always people out trying to get them for one reason or the other, either because of how they are or because they did something with their actions. And they are usually not ones to back down.
They're not appropriate. Judy, keep your earrings on, girl.
Why is she taking the earrings off?
Because we finna fight, boy.
The way the characters are written and the dynamics of the family are really just a playground for these main three to play in. At the head of the table is the patriarchal widower, Eli Gemstone, played by the amazing John Goodman, who's a great casting choice because he brings a lot of seriousness to the role, which a character in that scenario really needs. But Goodwin is such a great actor that he can just easily flip a switch and do something funny without even trying.
Get over here.
Why come?
Don't ask why I come. Just get over here right now, Kelvin Gemstone.
Daddy is the brains of the whole thing. But as the series goes, he starts to grow more and more tiresome of his kids and how they are. I say kids, but they're grown-ass adults.
Guess what? I'm not a little girl anymore. I'm a woman.
Yeah, I know. You're almost 40 years old.
All three of them are just so deranged and obnoxious. The way that's written is very satisfying. You can tell they're from the same kin, but they're also very unique in their personalities. The youngest is Kelvin, played by Adam Devine. He's a youth pastor who believes he's Jesus himself. And the more we see of him, it's prevalent that he's not Jesus, but we do notice that he might quite possibly be, maybe, who knows, kind of gay.
I know that you are not Jesus Christ. But that don't mean you're still not a decent man.
I don't want to be a decent man, Jesse. I want to be Jesus.
The middle child, Judy, is played by Edie Patterson, who might be my favorite character in the whole show. She's just a true daddy's girl, and is just always finding ways to seek attention.
Daddy slapped me too. I'm a gemstone too, so slap my face.
The way she talks specifically just gets me every time. They all have like this trying to be hip and cool kind of lingo, dropping a lot of sons and dogs and all this other stuff, but the way she does it is spot on.
Your sideburns are like shitting down your cheeks, man. They crying, dog.
Just the way Edie Patterson plays a grown-ass woman who's a spoiled brat is just simply perfect.
Is she your daughter?
No, bitch. That's my aunt.
McBride plays Jesse, the successor and potentially the next leader of the church, and he's easily the worst one. He's entitled, insecure, and quite delusional. All three of them are wildly immature and childish, but because of how they're written and the scenarios and they're put in, and it's just straight up comedy, you really don't end up hating them particularly. You're more laughing at them, no matter how all the riches that they have. You kind of feel bad for them because that's how immature they are. But not too far behind them is Uncle Baby Billy, played by the incomparable Walter Goggins.
Ain't nobody here named Baby or Billy?
Dude, we see half your body right now.
All he does is try to find a way to mooch off the family because he thinks he deserves it, because back in the day, he made a hit song with his sister Amy Lee.
Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers.
Baby Billy,
Baby Billy,
Bible Bonkers.
Bible.
Baby
Bible
Billy, Bible
Bonkers.
Bonkers. Yeah, roll that around your mouth. That's fun, ain't it?
I think he's one of the only ones that kind of has somewhat of an arc. There's some sort of evolution and change in that character. You start out really hating him because of how selfish and conniving he is. He essentially does have the same qualities that the kids have, but he doesn't really care who he hurts along the way.
Well, my mama didn't have none of that stuff when I was born.
Yeah, but you was a toilet baby.
Oh, yeah.
And the kids are more like all bark and no bite, but Baby Billy's a little bit more ruthless in that way. He just cares about one thing, and that's Baby Billy.
We might have touched dick. Look, that ain't the important part of the story.
But as the show goes along, there is somewhat of a transformation, and he does change a little bit, but at the core, he's still Uncle Baby Billy.
Well, I feel like I'm your daddy.
Oh.
Yeah, you didn't do any of those things you just said. I've done all of it. I am all y'all's daddy.
Not my daddy.
You're not my daddy.
Not my daddy.
Hush, now I'm your daddy.
You ain't my daddy, boy.
Yes,
Yeah,
I am.
oh, no,
you
you're not
are
my
not our
daddy.
daddy. I am your daddy.
Not a daddy.
You ain't my fucking daddy.
Hush! Okay. I said I'm your daddy.
You ain't my daddy.
I think Danny McBride might be the best writer to write pieces of shit who are funny and entertaining. I mean, they're all self-centered, so much so that even like regular characters usually get picked on for not being as ridiculous as they are. And no matter how traumatic of experience that they go through, the big three don't really change that much to the core. They're still them, which is the main conflict of the family dynamic. They're all just so selfish and set in their ways that they're always wanting to one-up each other. Their dead mama is basically the moral compass of the show, and there's a lot of flashbacks showing how things were and how the dynamic was then, which really doesn't change much actually. Yeah, they might have to band together for a bit to resolve a certain scenario or situation in any given season, but as soon as a new season starts, it's like they forgot everything that happened the previous season, and their dynamics remain unchanged. Kelvin will always be the baby brother that no matter what he does, he's always going to be seen in that light. Judy suffers from severe middle child syndrome. Jesse sees himself as better than everyone, but still seeks for his daddy's approval. The type of jokes are just plain stupid and super vulgar and raunchy. Not so much visually, it's more like verbally with their insults and how they speak to each other.
Y'all don't do cuss words? My bad. Thanks for keeping me in the dark on that one, Daddy.
I like things where you can just shut your brain off. You don't have to think about plots or characters or anything. Very superficial, but on purpose, because most of the reasons why these characters are bickering are usually ridiculous because they themselves are ridiculous. But as much as I love this show, I feel like the fourth season was kind of a filler season. It really just feels like a way just to say goodbye, really. Just to give it like the final season seal. Because in the first season, they're trying to take over and compete with smaller churches, while there's a threat looming around the whole season of these masked dudes that are blackmailing Jesse with crazy videos of him and his friends partying, doing drugs, and cheating on their wives. In the second season, Jesse and Amber are partnering up with another mega church from Texas to try and create this Christian timeshare resort. and more conflicts like journalists investigating Eli's past and these ever-looming motorcycle assassins running around. In the third season, Eli wants to step away from the church and has the other three battle for the head of the table, while Eli's sister Mei shows up needing protection for her family from her ex-husband, who hates the Gemstones and is the leader of a Christian militia. So in the past 3 seasons, there's always been a life-threatening issue going on throughout each season. And in the 4th, not so much. We start off with the origin of the Gemstones. We see the piece of shit that they actually come from, who's played by Bradley Cooper, who did an amazing job in that opening episode. Then we see the kids leading the church and each dealing with their own shit. And for some reason, there's a ton of Goggins dick on this season. But the main thing is that they have a problem with their daddy dating their mama's best friend, to the point where they don't care that he's been lonely this whole time. They see this as the ultimate disrespect to their mama. So this sets the table for the funny shenanigans that occur this season. But that danger that is always usually lurking in the shadows throughout the whole seasons is not really there this final season. It only emerges in the last handful of episodes. And I didn't think I needed, but oddly enough, I felt like something was missing. Those serious conflicts are what make the show feel balanced in an interesting way. The conflicts themselves are just so outrageous and ridiculous too. It's always usually black male drugs or something heavy. And like I said, in this last season it does arise, but it's not a constant throughout the season. But at the end of the day, as a farewell season, they did a good job. In the very last episode, they really used it to tie a bow on each character, really showing us where each of them stand at the end of the day, giving nice closure to the series. I found the show to be really fun. I really am gonna miss it. I'm gonna have a void in my entertainment heart that only the next Stanley McBride show can fill.
Bye, Felicia.
Okay, no.
What did he just say?
No.
Did he just say bye, Felicia? To me?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Bye, Felicia.
Jesse, you will never run this family. So bye, Felicia, to you, Jesse.
Who's Felicia?
You are.
No, you're Felicia.
Let's just all act like adults.
You're
Yeah,
Felicia.
we can act like adults if he's Felicia, because I'm not fucking Felicia.
Felicia.
No, you're Felicia.